And our third question comes from Adam. That's at AP Martinez 19. This is actually in response to a segment I did on NBC Sports Boston on Sunday. My producer over there, Cap, shout out to Cap for putting me on this, asked like the value of having a top 5 pick in the 2025 draft. So Adam saw that segment where I answered that question and asked this. And yet draft experts say there are not many players of the first round grade. Some say less than 10 in 2025. So would it not be better to at least get one of those players with your first round pick? Adam, I think it's a good point. The first round isn't very strong this year. The quarterback class has not stepped up. And I'm going to be interested to see the way this evolves, because you would hope that somebody would step forward the way that, say, Jaden Daniels did last year. I'm not sure that's happened. Shedeur Sanders has played well. There are questions about his ceiling as a quarterback. And, like all the stuff that's happened at Colorado, he's going to have to answer for that. Now, whether that's fair or not, it's going to be a question going into the draft cycle. Carson Beck has not played well at all, has not justified where he was projected to go before the year. Quinn Ewers, is he more than average physically? For a guy who was a super recruit, I don't know that we've seen that. And so that's a question he's going to have to answer through the pre-draft process. And obviously with Texas playing on big stages, he can answer some of those questions on his own in the coming weeks. Cam Ward, I don't see it personally based on the way he was looked at before the year. The reason he stayed in college was because his draft grade wasn't very good. And so is he seen as a first round pick? He might get there. We'll see. I'm a little skeptical on that one. So you have a quarterback class that is not near what last year's class was. And collectively, doesn't mean one of those guys can't step forward, but collectively it's not. And then if you go beyond that, like some of the high level names, Teteroa McMillan's an interesting one from Arizona. He has a chance. Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, I think he winds up going really high, but there are questions about his makeup speed and how fast he's going to run, whether or not he does run before the draft. And then you move down the line, Will Campbell, the left tackle from LSU, who's been projected to go very high because of his length. There's questions about what he might be and some of his tape, whether or not he's a tackle or a guard at the next level. Kelvin Banks at Texas has not been all that consistent this year. He's talented, but really struggled against Georgia. Travis Hunter, I think, is going to be the most interesting player in the cycle. Obviously, he played a ton of snaps at Colorado, but in all likelihood, he's not going to be playing both ways in the pros. I don't know. That'd be a good business decision for him to play both ways in the pros. So if he's got to be either a corner or a receiver, which is he? And if you have to pick one, is he a top 5 pick type of prospect, top 5 overall pick type of prospect at either of those positions to warrant that high a pick? Lots of questions on these guys. That's the point. I mean, even some of the defensive players like Jalen Walker, I think at Georgia has some potential to be like a Micah Parsons type of prospect. Do teams see him that way? Abdul Carter is just learning to play on the edge more on a full-time basis. Is he big enough to be a 3-down player in the pros? Michael Williams has health questions coming out of Georgia, outrageously talented, but health questions coming out of Georgia. Harold Perkins from LSU, same sort of thing. He'll be coming off of a very serious injury. There's just questions about all of them. So I don't know that the 25 draft is really seen as one where you need to be in the top 5. You need to be in the top 10. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, as it always is over the next few months. But early on does not look like a great year in the top 5, in the top 10, or even in the first round in general.